Mirrors have always played a quiet but potent role in cinema. They offer visual depth, reveal inner turmoil, and at times serve as chilling portals between what's seen and what's hidden. But in some films, the mirror doesn't just reflect the actor or the set. It shows something else, something that shouldn't be there. Throughout film history, directors have used reflections as a metaphor for fractured identities, suppressed memories, or alternate realities. But in the 15 films we're examining today, the mirror moments defy logic, intention, and sometimes explanation. These aren't the usual production mistakes like catching a crew member in frame or revealing the edge of a set. These reflections reveal people who weren't in the room, movements that don't match what's on screen, shadows that belong to no one. And in a few unsettling cases, the reflection seems to follow its own set of rules, detached entirely from the actor it's supposed to mirror. What makes these incidents so compelling isn't just the eerie visuals, but the silence surrounding them. Directors have never commented, editors have never acknowledged them, and yet fans online have noticed. They've paused, zoomed, compared different versions of the same scene. Some claim these anomalies were removed in later digital releases. Others believe they were intentional and meant to be discovered by only the most observant viewers. So tonight, we invite you to step through the looking glass. We're counting down 15 films where mirrors didn't just reflect reality, they distorted it. Were they clever tricks of light? Forgotten experimental shots? Or did the mirror capture something that was never supposed to? Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, 1992. The most disturbing reflection isn't one that moves wrong. It's one that knows it's being watched. David Lynch's prequel to Twin Peaks is infamous for its surreal horror, cryptic logic, and raw emotional violence. But one scene lingers in the minds of viewers, not for what it shows, but for what the mirror refuses to hide. In a quiet moment, Laura Palmer stares into her bathroom mirror. Behind her is Leland Palmer, her father. But in the reflection, it's not Leland who stands behind her, it's B.O.B., the malevolent entity that possesses him. What makes the scene terrifying is not just the visual shock, but the implication. The mirror reflects the truth, even when reality won't. Fans have debated whether the effect was practical or digital. Some insist it was a last-minute insert. Others say it was there in the first cut, untouched. But Lynch has never clarified. Was the mirror revealing the horror she couldn't face? Or was it trying to warn her all along? Dve Annihilation 2018. When the environment mutates everything, even the mirror mutates you. Alex Garland's Annihilation bends science fiction into body horror, meditative dread, and visual poetry. The Shimmer, a mysterious zone that refracts DNA, memory, and perception, is unpredictable. And in one critical scene, the mirror becomes part of that distortion. Lena, Natalie Portman, examines herself after a violent encounter. The mirror shows her but subtly wrong. Her head tilt is reversed. Her body position doesn't match the room's geometry. And as she steps forward, the reflection lags, then snaps into place as if catching up. Some have tried to explain it with camera angles or lens distortion, but the production team has never released a technical breakdown. Garland himself only offered this: the shimmer reflects, refracts, and reinterprets, including us. So when Lena looks into the mirror, is she seeing herself? Or a version reshaped by a force? #3, Stoker, 2013. Sometimes, the mirror doesn't reveal who you are, it foreshadows what you'll become. Park Chan-wook's Stoker is a haunting study of inherited darkness and suppressed instincts. With a lush, visual style and cold precision, every frame carries intent. And in one moment, the mirror says more than dialogue ever could. India, Mia Wasikowska, stands in front of her vanity, brushing her hair. She appears calm, blank even. But her reflection? It moves first. Her eyes glance upward in the mirror before she does, barely half a second early. Enough to notice, enough to feel the hairs on your neck rise. Some argue it was a stylized directorial choice. Others believe it was a happy accident that Park decided to keep, adding to the film's surreal tension. But those who watch closely notice something else. The reflection smiles just faintly when India doesn't. In a story about awakening buried instincts, was the mirror revealing? 4. Enemy, 2013. The mirror didn't reflect a man, it revealed a question. Denis Villeneuve's Enemy is a maze of doppelgangers, symbolism, and fractured identity. Jake Gyllenhaal plays two men who may or may not be the same person. But it's in one fleeting mirror shot that the entire film's ambiguity condenses into a single, chilling frame. One character walks past a mirror, but instead of showing his back, the mirror shows his face, looking forward, expressionless, as if it knew the camera was watching. No one reacts. The scene moves on. But that one moment sent forums into overdrive. Was it a mistake, a visual metaphor, or confirmation that reality and enemy isn't what it seems? Villeneuve, when asked, simply said, "There are things in this film that are not meant to be solved, only felt." So, what exactly did we feel when the reflection stared at us first? 5. Poltergeist 1982. The real terror wasn't what came through the TV, it was what stayed in the mirror. Tobe Hooper's Poltergeist, produced by Steven Spielberg, is filled with iconic horror imagery. But in a lesser discussed bathroom scene, there's a mirror moment that still unsettles those who catch it. Steve Freeling leans toward the sink, splashing water on his face. As he looks up, his reflection matches perfectly until it doesn't. In a single frame, his reflection appears slightly delayed, not enough to be noticed casually, but enough to feel wrong. What deepens the mystery is that the scene was shot practically no digital edits, no optical effects. Crew members later claimed the mirror was real glass, not a two-way setup. So, how did the timing break? Some call it a metaphor for the family's disconnection from reality. Others say it's just a fluke of film processing. But with the film's history of eerie accidents on set, it's hard not to wonder, was it just a glitch or did something else stare back? 6. It Follows, 2014. When something's coming for you, even your reflection might flinch first. David Robert Mitchell's It Follows thrives on atmosphere, slow dread, creeping entities, and a rhythm that never lets you breathe easy. But hidden in one shot is a moment that even die-hard fans missed on first viewing. Jay stands in her bedroom, staring into the mirror. Her posture is tense, her breathing shallow. But the reflection? It turns its head slightly to the left, as if noticing something off camera. Jay remains still. The moment lasts less than 2 seconds. Some believed it was a continuity error. Others suggested it was a deliberate plant, an indication that the entity had already found its way inside her. Strangely, the director has denied any such moment existed. But high-definition re-releases have only made it easier to spot, and in forums, fans trade frame counts and timestamps like forbidden knowledge. If the threat in It Follows is always walking toward you, what does it mean when your reflection sees? 7. Coherence, 2013. What if your reflection is the you from a different universe? Coherence is a low-budget, mind-bending thriller about parallel realities colliding during a dinner party. As reality fractures, so do the characters' sense of identity, and in one moment, so does their reflection. When M enters a darkened room, she glances into a mirror, but the woman reflected has her head tilted at a different angle, slightly off, not delayed, just not the same. When M turns away, the reflection continues to look for a second longer. The camera lingers, just enough to unsettle, just enough to raise doubt. The directors never address the scene. Some assume it's a cue that she's crossed timelines. Others believe the shot was never meant to show her face, but the reflection made the truth unavoidable. What if, in that moment, the mirror didn't show M at all, but another version of her, trying to come back? 8. The Shining, 1980. Not every reflection is haunted. Some are warnings you ignore. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining is a treasure trove of visual puzzles and unsettling imagery. Mirrors appear constantly often behind characters, distorting angles, hiding movement. But one moment stands out even among Kubrick's deliberate chaos. As Jack Torrance talks to Grady in the red bathroom, there's a mirror behind them. But when the camera angle shifts, the reflections don't align. Grady's mouth moves out of sync. Jack's hand lifts before it does in the glass. It's subtle, but in a film known for symmetry and precision, it's jarring. Was it intentional? A technical error? Or Kubrick's way of suggesting the Overlook Hotel isn't just haunted, it's rewriting reality? For a director obsessed with perfection, misaligned reflections aren't accidents. They're messages. 9. Hereditary, 2018. What if the reflection reveals what's coming before it arrives? Ari Aster's Hereditary is loaded with dread from its sound design to its deliberate camera moves. But amidst the ritualistic symbols and grief-stricken breakdowns lies a reflection that feels wrong. Uncomfortably wrong. During a nighttime scene, Peter, Alex Wolff, walks into the living room, briefly catching a glimpse of himself in a mirror. The reflection, however, appears off. His posture is too rigid. His eyes look directly into the camera, breaking the 180-degree axis. And strangest of all, he doesn't blink. The film's notorious attention to detail makes it unlikely to be a production oversight. Fans have slowed the scene, frame by frame, and many claim that the reflection lingers watching Peter even after he walks away. Is it a representation of possession? A silent presence replacing him? Or did the mirror show us what Peter would become before even he knew? 10. Fight Club 1999. Sometimes, the reflection isn't a mistake, it's the only truth you're allowed. David Fincher's Fight Club is built on the idea of duality. Narrator versus Tyler, fantasy versus reality, chaos versus control. But one specific scene takes that duality to the extreme. In a hotel bathroom, the narrator, Edward Norton, stares into a mirror. Tyler, Brad Pitt, appears behind him, but not as a reflection. He's there, physically in the room. Yet the mirror doesn't reflect him correctly. He moves, the glass lags. And in one frame, the mirror shows both men when only one is supposed to exist. Was it a clue? An editing hint that Tyler isn't real? Or did the mirror betray the lie too soon? Fincher never confirmed the anomaly, leaving fans to interpret whether it was a technical glitch or the mirror. Once again, telling the truth the film wasn't ready to admit. 11. Candyman 1992. You say his name in the mirror, but does the mirror say it back? In Bernard Rose's Candyman, the mirror is more than a surface, it's a summoning ground. The myth revolves around looking into the glass and daring the legend to appear. But in one early scene, long before the terror begins, there's a blink and you'll miss it detail. As protagonist Helen enters a bathroom and glances toward the mirror, her reflection is wrong. Her head tilts slightly before she moves. The reflection breathes differently. Some fans claim the mirror version blinks with its opposite eye. At first, it seemed like a filming trick, but as more people analyzed the frame, others began to question whether the mirror was part of the myth long before the summoning began. Was the legend already watching, or had the mirror already chosen her? 12. The Others, 2001. The real horror wasn't the ghosts, it was what the mirror refused to reveal. Alejandro Amenabar's The Others is often praised for its restraint, quiet tension, subdued performances, and an atmosphere of creeping dread. But nestled deep within its shadowy frames is a reflection that has long unsettled, sharp-eyed viewers. In one sequence, Grace, Nicole Kidman, walks past an old mirror in the hallway. For a fraction of a second, her reflection lags just slightly before catching up. It's easy to dismiss as camera timing or editing rhythm. But the strange part? It only happens in one specific version of the film. Not on all DVDs, not on all digital releases. Some collectors have even shared comparison clips showing the reflection misfire only in European releases. No official commentary has acknowledged it. No alternate versions have explained it. If mirrors are supposed to reflect truth, then what does it mean when the truth doesn't sync with reality? 13. Black Swan 2010. Sometimes, the person in the mirror isn't you, it's who you're becoming. Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan is a fever dream of ambition, obsession, and psychological collapse. Mirrors are everywhere, echoing Nina's disintegration as she descends into madness. But one scene, often overlooked, has puzzled viewers since the film's release. As Nina applies makeup in her dressing room, her reflection briefly smirks before she does. It's subtle, a half-second beat, but it's there, and it's terrifying. Was it a post-production composite mistake, a glitch in syncing footage, or a carefully placed detail meant to suggest that Nina's reflection has a will of its own? Cinematographers have pointed out that the scene was shot practically, meaning no digital trickery. If that's true, then how did the reflection move first? Was Nina ever really in control? Or was something else taking over? El fortome oculus. In this film, the mirror isn't a prop, it's the villain. Mike Flanagan's Oculus centers entirely around a cursed mirror that distorts memory, space, and time. The mirror's malevolent force causes hallucinations that blur the line between perception and reality. But even within a film about unreliable reflection, there's one shot that viewers claim breaks its own internal logic. During a sequence where the adult siblings confront the mirror head-on, their reflections remain frozen for a half-second longer than their movements. A delay, a hesitation, the kind of glitch you'd expect from a bad green screen, not a high-budget horror film. Flanagan, known for his meticulous attention to detail, has never commented on it. Some believe it's intentional, a wink to the audience. Others insist it wasn't in the theatrical release but appeared only in streaming versions, suggesting an editorial oversight or update. But if the mirror delays your reflection, is it mimicking you or watching you? 15. The Sixth Sense, 1999. It wasn't just the ghosts that haunted this film, it was their reflections. M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense became a cultural phenomenon in 1999, redefining how twist endings and psychological horror could captivate mainstream audiences. But beyond its iconic line, "I see dead people," lies a lesser-known visual anomaly that fans have dissected frame by frame. In one particular scene, young Cole stands in a hallway, staring nervously into a mirror. The reflection shows him standing still, but if you look closely, there's a brief flicker, a shape that shifts behind him, not part of the set, not any character we ever meet. The production commentary never addresses it. Some say it's a crew member accidentally caught in a reflective surface, but others argue it's too deliberate, too central in the frame. Years later, in certain DVD re-releases, that flicker is gone, smoothed over, cleaned up, no announcement, no patch notes, just a digital silence. Was it just a mistake edited out, or did the mirror reflect something Cole saw but we weren't supposed to? Bonus fact: Eyes Without a Face, 1960. Some reflections were never meant to be seen, but survive only in shadows of forgotten prints. Georges Franju's Eyes Without a Face is a pioneering horror film that blends lyrical beauty with surgical horror. Released in 1960, it tells the story of a brilliant but disturbed doctor trying to restore his daughter's disfigured face through extreme means. But hidden in early prints never acknowledged in restorations is a mirror shot that has puzzled a handful of film historians. In a now rare version of the film, during a silent moment as Christiane walks past a large hallway mirror, there's a blink of something behind her. A figure, standing motionless. Not the doctor. Not any known character. A black silhouette, visible only in the reflection, vanishing when the camera shifts. This version of the film was screened in small European cinemas before the film's international release. Later restorations and even Criterion editions do not include the moment. Was it trimmed, or did it never exist in the negatives? Some collectors claim to own grainy VHS copies that still show the figure. Others say it's a collective hallucination created by the film's atmosphere. But if even one frame of that reflection was real, who or what? We trust mirrors to show us the truth, to confirm we are who we think we are. But in cinema, the mirror doesn't always play by the rule. These 15 moments weren't accidents. Or if they were, they've become something more: myths embedded in the celluloid, fragments of alternate realities that slipped into our own, reflections that moved too early, figures that weren't in the room, images that disappeared in later releases without a word of explanation. What does it mean when a mirror on screen shows something no one admits to filming? Are these anomalies clever tricks, or evidence that something slipped past both the lens and our understanding? Which of these reflections stayed with you? And more importantly, have you ever paused a film, rewound a frame, and seen something in the mirror that shouldn't have been there? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoy peeling back the layers of cinema to find what's hidden underneath, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Darkroom Cinema, and turn on the bell icon. We dive deep because sometimes the shadows behind the screen are darker than we think.